Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine and today's video is just going to be a brief sewing chat where I'm discussing my Whole30 Fabric Challenge plans. And if you don't know what that is, basically the Whole30 Fabric Challenge is hosted by Pink Mimosas by Jacinta over on Instagram, and I'll be sure to include her Instagram handle in the description box. But basically, you are going to sew 30 yards of fabric that you already own before purchasing any more fabric. This is not my first time participating in the Sewing 30 Fabric Challenge. I did do this a few years ago, and I found it to be extremely helpful personally. One, I needed to get rid of some of the fabric in my stash. I probably had about 200 yards worth of fabric at that time. Some of it was given to me, but a lot of it I had purchased. So I wanted to use what I had. And the second thing, or the second benefit I found that I got gained from it was it made me reevaluate my shopping practices or my shopping habits. I realized that if I would, like, for example, go into Joann and see fabric on sale, I would just purchase it with no plans. It was cute. I liked it, and I would purchase it, and it would sit on my shelf for 2 or 3 years. So that was a habit that I have been working on. I've been consciously working on breaking over the last 2 years since I participated in that challenge. Now, the first time that I did this project, I did not make any plans. I just sewed whatever I needed to sew and kind of hoped that I had what I needed in my stash. If I didn't have it, then it wasn't made. But this time I'm actually planning my projects in 10-yard increments. And I've actually already started on the first 10 yards. I've already planned it out and I've started sewing. So I'm 3 yards into the first 10 yards that I've already planned. I am picking my projects based off of what I need. And I'm also picking them based off of what fabric I just want off the shelf. Like, there's some fabric that I've been looking at for a while and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be done with you. I don't want to look at you anymore. So right now I'm still sewing for summer. Uh, I'm in Mississippi and it's going to be hot here probably until late September if we're lucky. It's probably not going to cool down until October. So I want to focus on summer style garments. That's what I'm going to be sewing. And I also still want to get rid of some of my summer fabric, right? So my first 3 yards were clearly summer fabric, and the next couple of yards are going to still be kind of summer fallish fabric. I think it just depends on who you ask. But that's what I'm going to be focusing on for these first 10 yards, is getting through a little bit more of the summer fabric and making some of my summer projects. And also, I'm going to be focusing on some of the things that I need. So, for example, I know for a fact I've needed athletic tights for a while, athletic tights, particularly with pockets. So, I have athletic fabric here, and I really want to go ahead and start working on my athletic tights before the cooler weather hits and I'm outside. I jog outside most of the time. So I need something that covers my legs and has pockets for me to stick my phone and my key in. As I mentioned, I've already sewn 3 out of the first 10 yards. My first project was Simplicity 8513, which is a bodysuit pattern. And I've sewn this pattern several times. If you go to my website, you will see the pattern review for this. I'm not going to do a review here, but this was my first time sewing Busey, which has a um, mock wrap front. And so for that project, the only thing that I did was I did add a ruffle along the wrap edges. And I really liked the way that it came out. I'm including a picture here beside me, but I really liked the way that this bodysuit came out. I used a green double brush knit from Joann for this, and it was about 1 yard of fabric because you had to account for the ruffle piece that had to be cut in a circular side or a circular way, almost like a circle skirt. So that actually took up quite a bit of fabric. So it was about a 1 yard project, even though it was sleeveless. Now, the second project that I did was New Look 6618, and I did view C length and with view B's belt. And this is not my first time sewing this project either, so there's a review as well on my website for this. But I will say that while I really love the dress, I do not, well, I'm not going to say I love the dress. I love the way the front of the dress looks when it's tied at the front. I do not like the way the back of the dress looks, and I don't know if I'm going to be wearing this that often. I'm trying to give it some time to see if I like it. I've already worn it out once, and I think I'm going to wear it out one more time before summer ends. But I try to wear the garment a few times before I say, okay, we're going to give this away. I really love the front, was not a huge fan of the back. And I think that's what happened when I made it a few years ago as well. And I just couldn't remember why I never picked it up again. But now that I've made it, I'm like, oh, this is why you didn't really care for it. Love it when it's tied at the front, the gathered look, then love it at the back. So the first time that I wore it, I actually wore it with the ties at the back, and it has like this A-line silhouette. Really like the way that they look. So we're gonna see if I keep it in my stash. Now, the next thing that I have planned is I have 4 yards of this. It is a black rainbow blur double brush jersey knit fabric from Joann, and it's very pretty. I'm calling it a summer fabric. I think you may could consider it early fallish fabric. I'm not sure. But my plans are to do the green style aria twist top, which will be about 1 yard of fabric, as well as McCall 7429. McCall 7429, I made dresses twice now using this pattern. And I have a love-hate relationship with this pattern. Love the final look, hate actually sewing the twist front. But I always love the final look, so I can't help but go back to it. This will probably take up about 2 yards of this. And then for the final yard, I think that I am going to sew a dress for my niece because she did ask me to make her something using this fabric. But I'm really excited about this. I love this print. I think that it's going to look really good as a twist front dress, as well as with the green style aria twist top, because there's going to be a twist front as well. It's just going to be a crop top. For the last few yards, I'll be using Green Styles Tempo Athletic Tights sewing pattern to make myself 2 pair of sewing tights because I really need those. Not sewing tights, athletic tights. I really need some athletic tights with pockets, especially now that it's about to get cooler. I typically am jogging outside, so I want to make sure that I'm ready when the weather does get cool. And I'll be using this athletic knit that I purchased from Joann several years ago, maybe 3, could be more than that. But it has a really fun print. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see it. And hopefully you all can see that. But it has a really fun print and it has great stretch and recovery. And I got it in black as well as, yeah, as well as this dark green color, and it's the exact same thing. It's just a different color. So I'm not going to take the rubber bands off of that. But I am really looking forward to making these athletic tights. I've sewn the tempo tights pattern as well, but I think I've only did it one time, and I know that I need to make some pattern adjustments. So I probably have notes on that. But I am looking forward to sewing some athletic tights because that's one thing that I struggle with when it comes to purchasing size wise. I have a hard time finding sizes that fit me great and also have the pockets that I'm looking for. So there you have it. Those are my plans for the first third of the 30-yard fabric challenge. And if you are participating and you follow me on Instagram, feel free to DM me. If you're participating, please feel free to leave a comment below this video letting me know that, hey, I'm joining in. I have no problem encouraging you. I'm doing it already on Instagram with a couple of people. And sometimes it just helps to have somebody say, you can do this. It's 30 yards. You can knock this out. I do plan on the plan is to record each time I finish. So after I finish this 10 yards, I do want to record a video sharing with y'all what I plan on doing for the second 10 yards and then the third 10 yards. So basically until I finish my 30 yards. And then I'll probably do like a roundup video saying these are all the projects I made. Probably. Don't hold me to that. But anything where I'm doing a new pattern, like for example, the green style patterns twist top, that's actually going to be a new pattern. And so I'll do a pattern review on my website. But if it's a pattern that I used before, which for this first 10 yards, most of the projects have been patterns that I've used before, then I already have pattern reviews on my website that you can look at. Thank you so much for watching this sew and chat, and I will see you for the next 10-yard discussion.